She sold 80% of her belongings, crossed continents with a suitcase full of fabric, chased a dream across the UK and USA, and came home with stories, stitches, and a roof leak. Now she's rebuilding her life and her sewing studio, one power tool, painting and pattern piece at a time. The Seamstress at the cottage, where every mess becomes a masterpiece, eventually. We had electricity put in. There were like 2 lights and they all were on the same switch. And there was 1 light for this side and my sewing area, and then 1 light for this side. But now we have lights for every side. Look at this. Switch them on separately. We're going to start painting today. Now, I look terrible, but you cannot paint in your good clothes. So, all of the stuff behind me needs to come down. And then I'm going to start on that wall. And then I'll do the next, and the next, and the next. And yeah, I think it's going to take a little while. But look, I have a flag here. Oh, this is so awesome. Oh my goodness. There's lots of work in here. And that room I will do later on. But I'm excited. I've got my paint and I've got my cornices for up there. And we had lots of rain the last 2 days and it's not leaking up there, so I can actually put up cornices. And then it all started. Packing away every single thing that I so carefully put in their places. And this has been the story of my life. For the last 50 days, I would set up a place and then something happened, like putting up electricity, which wasn't planned immediately. It was going to happen later, but the opportunity came along and so we did. And now I just need to unscrew this. And then it was time to take down the cloth that I put up so that you don't see the wall, and unscrew the shelf. There's these screws sticking out. I am just going to cut them off now with my iron saw. I ended up changing the screws so they're shorter. It was actually so much easier than to try and just saw them off. So I'll come over here with some sandpaper and just smooth it out. And then this will be sorted. But I was thinking I need to start at the top first. And just clean it and start painting over here. Start with the ceiling. I'm going to do this side and then work my way to that side. And then I'll do the bottom side. But first, I need to get that off and put the first damp seal on there. Got these brushes, different strengths. And I'm just going to start with them. I've taken off all the loose paint and now I'm going to put some waterproofing on there. You have to do it in 2 steps. First you have to dilute it and then the next step is the full amount. Next, I wash the walls with sugar soap. Sugar soap is something we find in South Africa that it takes off all the gunk and everything else, and when you paint, the paint sticks so much better. It's also good to get stains off your walls. And that's the color we're going to do this wall. I want to start by just doing a border. And this color is called Kruitjie roermynie. It's such a nice word. It's Afrikaans word for a plant. It's a plant that when you touch it, it actually closes, the leaves closes. And then I will just go around and do all the edges and then I'll fill it in from there. I am not a professional painter, so don't use this as a tutorial. It's not. This is just the way I paint. And I think professional painters will freak out, but that's their problem. I want the color on the wall, and this is how I do it. So I was painting, and then this amazing man, Victor, came and he said, he can do it better. And I think he can, because I've been painting for 4 hours, and that's all I did. And yes, when I get back in here, these 3 walls will all be done. I am back in my office, and I decided to fill in all those holes. The bottom part, I just did the big ones. The other ones must just, I'll paint over it because I'm not going to see there. And then when I started rolling the ceiling, the paint just came off. So I took off everything that wants to come off, and now I am hand painting it with a brush, and I hope that's going to work. It looks like it's going to work, and then I'll come with the second coat with the roller over. But this has turned into a mammoth task. I still need to put some foam there in the corner and then cut the foam off and then put the cornices up here, but I will do that a bit later. For now, I just want to focus on getting this ceiling painted. I then went ahead and painted the back wall in the same color, just to give it a first coat, with the plan to go over it with the other color later on. We're going to try again. Yesterday, as I was rolling on, the paint that was on the ceiling just came off. So I read up about it and I put on some paint with a paintbrush and not a roller, and now apparently I should be able to roll. So let's see if it works. Okay, it's working. Oh, that was a tense moment there for a little bit. Oh my goodness. Okay, it didn't work. It went fine until I was getting too vigorous and then the paint came off. So I'm just fixing up where the paint came off and taking off the paint that wants to come off. The thing of doing home renovations, you never know what you're going to get. So I'm going to continue with a paintbrush and paint the ceiling. Good morning. It is Monday again, and it's the 2nd of June, and we need to sort out the chaos. So when you come into this room, it's all nice and sorted, but then there's this, and we cannot get to this until I finish these two. So the plan for today is finish the painting, get this cornices up, and then put like the mirror up so it's out of the way, and all the things that needs to go on the walls, put it on the walls. So then I'm going to take everything that's in this room and move it into this room, and then paint this room and get it sorted and finished. Then we're done, and then we can start with this place behind me, which is basically the garage, but we're going to turn it into a workspace for my sister, maybe another space. It's still a lot to do, and I've lost momentum. But I'm ready to get going. It's Monday. There's no interruptions this week. I think the electrician is just coming one day. So, yeah, I should be able to. And on that day, I will work on my bookcase. It's going to go over there on the wall. So, let's get going. Finally, I painted over all the white blotches and started with the accent color. To tell you the truth, I'm not so sure about this color. So the last time you saw me, I only had the ceiling to do. And then, we got visitors, and it was busy for a few days. So, I'm back in this place, and I got myself a fashion statement. I don't think you can get anything cuter. Something a friend taught me years ago is, if you use paint brushes and you can't continue, or even your paint tray, then you just put it in a plastic bag. But then you don't have to clean your brushes every time. And it actually works really well. So this is the second coat for this part. Everything else I've had is second coat. We're going to put the coat on and then take the foam off. So I found the best way to cut this foam is either a bread knife, but my bread knife is a bit big and it goes skew, or one of these small serrated knives. I like to do pieces. Because my cornices are going to go up here, I'm not too worried about it being perfect up here. I just want it cut away. So it will be like pieces like this. I have been putting it off because I'm kind of intimidated by this. But I'm waiting for the walls to dry so I can put the second coat. These ones are finished, but they're also still drying. So it is time to actually paint the cornices so that they can go up. And I'm going to do them the same color as the walls. Oh, funny, that's slime. I see. See the vision? I see the vision. This wall, you can't really see it in this light, but I don't like it the way it is. So I've got all those testers that I bought originally. So I think I'm going to do a paint effect on that wall. Not at the top because there's boxes and stuff, but here on this wall that will be behind the couch. So I'm starting with the dark and just doing like stripes which I feather out with a big brush. And then I'll go in with the other colors. Let's hope it works. And if it doesn't, then I'll just paint over it. Good morning. Oh my goodness, it's still a mess, but it's slowly getting there. So this roof is so skew, and I'm hoping it's going to look okay when I painted it. And if it doesn't, I'll put lots of stuff everywhere so you don't really see it. But this is so hickety-pickety that I know there's a way of doing that properly, for example, but I just didn't have the patience anymore. So I'm going to slap some paint on and hope for the best. But I'm happy with the progress. Not that it looks like I had a lot of progress, but yesterday I did the paint effect and basically the cornices. Oh yes, and I put a coat of paint on here and I put a coat of paint around there, which I'm very happy about. The only thing is the painter's tape pulled the paint off. So I'll have to come in and with a small brush just fill that in. But overall, I am really excited of where we are. So today I'm finishing this room by finishing that, painting over there. I don't have enough of this, but up there in the corner is a big box always. That box actually. And so I'm not too worried about not having enough of this because I did need to keep some for this room. But slowly and surely, the progress is happening. And I must say that it gets overwhelming at the moment. I'm actually so over this. No, I'm not over it. I'm just tired. But we're not going to stop until it's done. The paint is made for the cornices aren't dry yet. So I think what I'm going to do is just pick up all the stuff and then start waxing these things over here, the edges. And then I can clean up on them. And then this is actually finished. I just need to still paint there. So I can pack the stuff that goes... No, I can't pack anything on here. I will just leave it for now. But because it's cold, the stuff are not drying properly. So I might need to bring the heater in here and just close the doors to heat it up. And up until an hour ago, I was still very negative and so tired of all of this because this has literally been going on for weeks, trying to get this place sorted. And then I just realized, changed my thinking. It's a privilege to have this space. And that's how I'm going to look at it. It's not, oh, I'm not getting it done, I just want it over with. It's, wow, I get to do it. I'm going to get to do it. Then I'm going to take everything that's in this room and move it into this room. And then paint this room. I've been busy since 4:30. And I think it's 6 o'clock now, so I'm quite happy with my progress. And now it's time for coffee.